Hi, I'm Rick Kaler. Thanks for joining me. Making sound money decisions is really fundamental to financial and emotional wellness. One component of that decision making is applying logic and rationality to a set of known facts. Easy, right? Nope, not at all. Take, for example, the recent dramatic drops that we've seen in the stock market. Suppose you've read the research and listened to financial experts who say the worst thing investors can do is to sell their stocks in a market panic. They advise developing a philosophy, sticking to it in times of turbulence. They say, skip the TV financial news. Don't look at your monthly statements. Now, if you apply logic and rationality, you do just that. You already have created a well-diversified portfolio. You promise yourself not to panic when the markets turn down, reminding yourself that you're a long-term investor. You vow not to look at your brokerage statements and ignore the financial press until the crisis is over. This works well, as long as our emotional and logical brains are in sync with one another. The problem is that when it comes to money, they rarely are. Research shows that we make 90% of money decisions strictly emotionally. To be clear, the odds suggest that not every emotional decision is a poor one. However, the most consistently successful money decisions have both emotional and logical components. Now, I don't have research on what percent of all money decisions probably don't serve us well. We do know that 75% of Americans would need to sell something to come up with $1,000. Most of us live hand to mouth, having no significant reserve, much less a nest egg of investments saved for retirement. I think this strongly suggests that we make the majority of our money decisions emotionally, with the rational mind just simply offline. The logical process described above for creating investment health is hard for most people and almost impossible for some. So how can we make better money decisions? How can we make better investment decisions? Decades of learning about the brain and money psychology has taught me that it requires a transformative process that integrates our rational thinking and our emotions. One of the strongest metaphors for that process is the transformation of Ebenezer Scrooge that Charles Dickens describes in A Christmas Carol. The ghosts who led Scrooge to explore his past, present, and future helped him become aware of his emotions, separating them from his thoughts. This freed him to be fully present in the here and now. Only in this state could he absorb the knowledge of how his actions were affecting him and those around him. Now, to apply this today, when markets are plummeting, an important first step is to acknowledge any feelings that you're experiencing, rather than ignore them as if they don't exist. Disregarding them can bottle them up and set the stage for an explosion later. That overwhelming emotional flood may result in panicking and selling out your well-designed portfolio at precisely the wrong time. Feelings start as bodily sensations that we express in one word, like fear, desperation, hopelessness. We express thoughts as statements like, I feel like the markets are going to zero and I will lose everything. This statement has nothing to do with a feeling. It's a thought. The feeling behind the statement, maybe it's hopelessness, fear, desperation. To make sound investment decisions, we really need to become present, to be aware of our emotions, but not controlled by them. This allows us to make decisions more objectively, with logic and rationality that respect and acknowledge our emotional as well as our practical needs. That integration, unfortunately, is not easy. It may need support from a counselor or financial therapist. Achieving it helps our emotions support strong financial decisions rather than sabotage them. It's the key that unlocks the door to financial wellness. Thanks for joining me.